potential next steps might be and which board is in line for those next steps. And then, the outcome, when we walk away here tonight, we would be equally informed, because sometimes I think, personally I take for granted how much everybody knows and what we're discussing, and you're walking down the street talking about this and it all makes sense, but sometimes I don't think everybody has that same perspective. So we'd be equally informed as both boards and the public, quite frankly. And then again, as we stated when we began, is to have a more effective and solid working relationship as we move forward. So that's why, and what we hope to get out of it. Okay, what I'd like for you to do, and on top of that, I'm not asking for any specific action tonight unless you're compelled to make that action. Rather, take this, understand it, and then, because we're probably going to need to get on the agenda over the next few months to look at some of the properties and what might be required next to do. So if you take out this sheet right here, first want to focus on the properties of interest, and that's the lower section, and it begins with 3rd and Walnut. 3rd and Walnut, the purpose, that's the old A1 auto body. The reason that we're discussing that is, as I understand it, it has been long time noted as the gateway to Lawrenceburg. It sits at the corner of 50 and Walnut, and there has always been some interest in the acquisition of that property and using it to help draw people off 50 to the downtown area. So, that being said, redevelopment has gotten appraisals on it, and we extended the initial offer at $285,500, which was rejected. Now, I might note here, and this is where I started discovering that, we need to be more informed and together as separate entities, because we would have to ask council to appropriate $285,500 in order to make that offer. So I think in some ways we may have got the cart before the horse, but again, that's one of the things we want to try to prevent moving forward. So they subsequently countered at $375,000, something like that, and of course we rejected that, and basically so that offer is null and void. Since then they have come back and are willing to accept $285,500. There's no offer on the table. That's just the status of that property. So in order to proceed, we would have to ask council if they are inclined to make a new offer on that property. I'm not asking you to take any action tonight.
Is that the way it goes, Brian? Can't redevelopment could make the offer and then accept it, they have to send it to council for approval, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we have the money in the budget.
We don't have money for that. We would have, that would require an additional appropriation.
I thought we had over $2 million in there and that we didn't have
It's in the fund, it's not appropriated. And that's part of the conversation we had a few meetings ago about, the step-by-step process.
Non-reverting? Is that where it is?
Yeah, in our redevelopment, correct, Brittany?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've appropriated the money this year for the commitments we've already made. This would be in addition to that. So we would have, that's kind of what's driving the conversation tonight. In some cases, it doesn't make sense to, go out and it's kind of like we need to have a plan and agree on it before we go out and start attacking it. Otherwise, we may have different opinions on when we get to this point.
So I don't know who this is a question for. We really wouldn't have to appropriate any more money, just approve the spending out of the NR fund, right?
Well,
Do an additional, because what Brian's saying is the $2 million that's in there is already dedicated to certain.
no.
Oh, it's not? Oh.
No.
It's in there.
The $2 million that's in there is in a fund.
Yeah.
In order to get it from the fund over to where we can spend it, an appropriation has to be made, correct? Brittany? I'm looking at Brittany.
Okay.
She's
Yeah, it's
beauty for me.
So, and I think the mechanics of it, we can get through, but I think, fundamentally and conceptually from a bigger picture, you know, we're kind of getting out of step with each other, I think, sometimes, and we can fix that. So, again, any other questions on that particular piece? You know, I think the next step for redevelopment, if they so choose, would be to approach council and see if there's any inclination to make another offer and acquire that property. Or it's in,
Did we have that appraised?
yes,
And the appraised value was 285?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering about this, Brian, and I didn't think about this earlier, but would it be possible for, okay, at your redevelopment meeting, have the redevelopment commission, if they choose, okay, yeah, hey, we want to take that offer forward now. But you could make that, you know, contingent upon
Yes.
council approval.
Right.
That way, I mean,
Yeah, you can, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I mean, if there's really no desire to do it anyway, we can spin our wheels someplace else. And so,
Actually, the last meeting on this, I thought we said we were no longer interested in it.
we did.
So-
But
since then,
tonight,
though, they came back to Brian.
No, after
Yeah.
they came back
After they came back,
285.
so-
we said-
Oh, was it after?
Yeah, we
but I
said
mean,
we were
it's
not
still
interested.
a piece of property that's sitting up there that, a citizen has interest in, and I wanted to get this board, council, up to date fully on that particular piece of property. So that's where it sits.
We had a group that were working on that side of the road on a project that he needs 2 or 3 years, and what I'm afraid of is if we go over there and take this piece of property, now all of a sudden, the little building sitting around the corner from it's gonna be worth twice as much money. I'd rather let the private sector make all the deals.
Good point.
And then,
Good point.
if they come to us and need help with their project,
That's one thing.
that's what I'd rather have. I mean, how good did the deal work out across the street? We went over there and bought the old postal and spent all the money, and we've got a little green space on there, and we've got a bank, and I don't know that the bank couldn't have done a better deal on it. I don't know. I'd like to know how that all worked out. I'd rather let the private sector take care of it.
Hey, Bob.
I have a question. Didn't we talk about if a private, that they could only open a body shop there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's grandfathered in. If anything else goes in there, they lose the access off the highway.
The curb.
And on it.
But I think what Paul's referring to, there was a project that you guys got from Low Miller.
Well, actually, Low Miller's project, it's not supposed to have anything to do with this.
Yeah, well, I take, yes, it does. Because they're talking to Karen Shields, and they would like to have the A1 body. So I think maybe they came back and said, hey, I'll take that 285.5, because they know maybe they're not going to get more than that.
Yep.
From the private sector, is what I'm saying. And Paul's idea, Paul does make good point there. I mean, it probably does make Karen Shields' little building worth a lot more if somebody goes and buys A1 body and not have a deal with it. I think that's why Low Miller's been working with Karen Shields as well.
I think we're
I don't
kind of
know.
interfering with something that he might want to do, and if we've got a guy that's in the private sector that's possibly wanting to put something together, and he's made an agreement with us, I believe we're working on that now, giving him a certain amount of time.
If you'd like, I can,
I think we're interfering with his amount of time if we go in there and make any deals in that area.
Right.
so, that being said,
Information.
information only at this point. It's dead with redevelopment, and I think we have a good understanding of how council feels. All right. All right, if you look right underneath that, there's Scudder property, the Thomas property, and the old Carpenter's Union Hall.
I love the looks of these. There's 3 buildings there, and the worst one wants the most.
Okay, well, let's start back at the beginning. The purpose for the discussion was that, we have 2 open vacant city blocks there where Music on the River is, and across the street, there's, in the Riverfront Development Project, there has been considerable amount of discussion about, creeping over the garage and down into that area, and it perhaps being a green space that connects downtown to the river. And those properties that are adjacent, these properties here that are adjacent to our properties may have value in the future for the redevelopment of that entire block. That's why we have discussed these properties. And that's, as I understand it, from coming in January to now, that's been the discussion. So, in that reference, we agreed, redevelopment voted to get appraisals. We have one set of appraisals back, as you can see there. So, if that, we're still waiting on another set of appraisals, but you get an idea of what it, could be just by looking at those. So the next step there would be, just much as the previous discussion, are we interested in an additional appropriation for that amount of money to acquire those properties, again, with the goal to redevelopment that block area.
Okay, well, here's a few questions I've got on that. If we buy, I would think we'd have to buy all three of them. We can't buy one. Because if you try and tear one down, which, that's another question, are we allowed to tear it down because it's historical? Number two, if you tear one down, what does that do to the wall next to it? We've had that problem before, haven't we? So.
I agree.
We have to remodel all three properties, which is going to be a hell of a lot of money because that middle one's ready to fall in the back. Or are we allowed to tear it down and build something new there? And if we tear it down, does that affect the other houses on High Street, their building next to it? There's a one more building between two of them.
And Tony, I agree, and I think what, if we agree conceptually that this is we can proceed and find out more answers.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be any green space though, because I don't think the state would allow us to tear them down.
No, I'm talking across the street.
I think we need to find that out. I don't know
We got
that
sued over
Scudder's
that.
property is historically important. Thomas's might be. But I think we need to find that out. And I also think that those three buildings, the one building, the Carpenter's building, I went through, along with some other people. That building, you can rehab that building relatively inexpensively. Mr. Thomas's building, I've not been in it. Well, I was in it 10 years ago. We would have to have somebody look at that. Mr. Scudder's building, you'd have to tear down. It's getting ready to fall down. If you go around the back of it, the mortar is gone.
Deck's falling down.
The deck's falling down. There's unsafe conditions throughout that building, in my opinion. But those three buildings are a key, in my opinion, to the downtown redevelopment. If you look at that street, High Street, and I've walked that 100 times, you take those three buildings and you either rehab two of them or destroy two of them, one of the two. I think you can get a developer in there to build an apartment complex, commercial and apartment, and make our downtown look better. Now, if you drive down that street, it looks pretty good till you get to that corner. And you take a look to your left, and you think, what in the world is that? Now, that's not disparaging anybody, that's just the way it is.
I think the biggest question to ask is if it's on the historical register, and do you guys know over there?
Thomas's might be, but Scudder's, I doubt.
Michael know that.
Mike?
I know for a fact that the hall is.
Okay.
I'm not positive about the other two.
Well, you said for a fact.
I do know that the Union Building is
Okay.
on there, but I'm not sure about the other two.
Is that the map that we did, Mike? We never put those buildings on there.
I'm pretty sure the Union.
Union Hall, I think so.
The Union Hall we did.
Yeah.
That's where it stops, but coming that way, we
I don't
did.
think the other two are, but I don't have the list in front of me. But to answer your question in general, yes, you can take it down, but there is a somewhat lengthy state prescribed process that you have to go through and walk through. I think it takes roughly 6 to 12 months to get through that process. But yes,
If it's on the registry.
yeah, but yes.
If they're on the registry, yeah.
You can do that, it takes a little bit of time, you have to follow, all the state regs on doing it.
I'd say you find out if it's on the registry first, I think.
I would encourage everybody in this room to take a walk down Short Street, and when you get to the Carpenter's Hall on the sidewalk, you look up and you look at the building, because there's something that's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen in the near future.
If you look in the
People
back,
living in that building.
if you look in the back of the building, you can definitely tell.
The front's worse than the back.
Back in that little,
The front is leaning 9 inches to a foot right underneath that balcony, and it's getting worse and worse every month. And I guarantee you that in the next 2 years, that building's gonna collapse. Take a look at it.
And that's one of the biggest complaints I hear about that area too, as far as like people on music on the river looking at that area, and then,
Looks like a
Okay,
So
so,
here's the other thing I'd like to say. In my opinion, we have dropped the ball on that area. We had control over a lot of those buildings, and we basically gave it up for nothing. We had control of the firehouse, we had control of the one catty corner from Jimmy Thomas.
Post office.
We no longer own those, and we've got a chance right now to take an area, and if you go to these cities, green space, a park,
we're going on.
some type, and I think that if we could show a commitment to an area, I think we can get a developer in there. But we can't get a developer with buildings like we're talking about sitting there. It isn't gonna happen.
I was also, I was approached, I don't know, a couple months ago by the Carpenters Union, and I think they would be willing, and to sell that. It was like $65,000.
That's what I heard too.
And
If that's the case, we should get it.
Like Scott, your people living there, right?
Yeah.
When do you get to the point that those get condemned? You see it in the city all the time.
well, I've asked Fryman about that, and I think we've gone over there numerous times and gave Mr. Scudder the papers to what has to be done to get it to whatever, the code. And he does just enough to do that.
I would rather deal with Mr. Scudder fairly and
Right.
do this, because I don't wanna put ourselves in a situation to where
agreed.
we're doing that. I mean, I know the building's in bad shape, and I know it probably could be condemned, but,
I think he's the first guy you gotta deal with.
Okay,
Because
well-
if you can't buy his building, you don't want the other ones.
Okay, so we know where we're at.
yeah, I would say like Proximo did over on Main Street. It's basically you tell them it's all or nothing. That's what we did on Main Street, because there's a few holding out,
Yeah.
so then none of the neighbors could sell their house either. So basically it's an all or nothing deal.
Again, just for tonight's purposes, that's where we're at. We are waiting on the other appraisals. So once we have those, I will let everybody know where we're at, and we'll try to answer a few questions in between. Fair enough?
I think once you get the other appraisal, then you can determine, okay, here's Mr. Scudder, here's what we're able or willing to do, and go from there.
start a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Paul, you're exactly right.
And I can extend the offer pending an appropriation, maybe.
Brian, I'd like you to let Jimmy Thomas know that we're still talking about it.
Okay.
Very interested in selling.
Sure. Sure.
But, and that's the best way to look, what Paul said, that's the best way to look at these properties, and that's why Mr. Messmore is presenting them the way they are, because redevelopment looks at everything from the point of a master scheme, the master plan. So what you're looking at really is, okay, when you pull into Walnut Street off of 50, what's there? We already know that Low Miller's interested in developing part of that. We know St. Lawrence is doing a new addition, so what part do we play? A1, what part do we play? Do we let the private sector deal with it, or do we get involved? Because when Low Miller gets further down the road, he's gonna ask us to get involved in some way. We don't know exactly what yet. And then when you go down, you turn left on High Street, you're exactly right. That's a huge area that has a lot of potential. with a possible green space in the parking lot where Music on the River is. And so that's why redevelopment is looking at it as a master scheme, but council has to be involved to look at it from the financial side of things, and we're working hand in hand. That's why everyone's here together.
I haven't been attending many of the redevelopment meetings, but when I was on there, the area you're talking about, the end of Short, Paul, there was a lawsuit involved with the firehouse, and the people that bought it, the redevelopment agreed to drop the lawsuit and sell it to a high bidder on a contingency that he would have it open, he said, within 8 months. So I don't know what's happened with that. That's been a year and a half ago, maybe. It's been a while.
Depends on how that contract was written.
Yeah,
I think
see, I don't know.
that was what was said in the meeting, but I don't think it was drawn up in the contract.
Case is still in litigation.
Are you interested in buying it back?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Maybe we should.
They've bought that thing 3 times, ain't done anything with it yet.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm going to court on it next
I'm
month.
gonna tell you why there's nothing been done with it yet. Because we're not the ones doing it.
That's true.
And what I'm telling you guys is if you want something to happen to an area, we gotta be smart about it. And I know nobody wants to get in the landlord business, but if you want something good to happen in downtown, I personally think we need to get involved in it a little bit more and keep control over something when if we want something to happen, hey,
I think it's
tell
good.
people to do things.
I think it's a good idea to, what do they call it, white box it, or, go in and remodel it, not finish it completely, but get it safe. I think they call it white box or box.
You're right.
And then sell it to a
Firehouse.
developer. Yeah.
Firehouse, if you've been in there.
Buildings on Short Street too.
Have you been in that firehouse lately?
Not for a long
In
time.
order to sell that, because it's gonna take so much money for a private developer to fix that up, to be able to put a business or whatever in there, because we showed it to a number of people to try and sell it for Matt Davis, or.
Don Davis.
Well, Matt.
Oh, yeah, Matt now.
But anyway, he's the one that showed it to us. But anyway, I mean, it needs plumbing, it needs electric, it needs HVAC, basics that you have to put in there before we could even get a private developer to even look at putting something in there. I mean, honestly, that's just the way it is. I mean, it's a shell.
I know, but I just want to reiterate one thing, though. When redevelopment sold that to these last owners, they said they were going to put their money in it. They were not going to ask the city for one penny to put in it.
Well, and nobody's come and asked me for any money.
All right, you want to go on to the next one?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay, all right. But I think the key.
Firehouse for $25,000.
Yeah, I do think one of the keys here, though, is if we're together and we have a good plan and we execute effectively, I mean, we're putting public money in it. But if we do it right, the private sector will start joining in around us, and we can, I mean, that's the goal. Public starts, and then you get public-private, and then it turns over, and then private takes off. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to prime the pump. So if we're successful at our plan and our execution, at some point, that firehouse would be worth private investment. That's our goal. So, and if we have to get there before them, we don't know yet, but that's the goal, not to do this forever.
Maybe we should look into getting the firehouse again.
I'll see you next Monday. Okay, let's go back, let's step back up
How'd you say you bought
into,
it 3 times?
I was going to make it 4.
Four's a lucky number.
but remember, that's our goal, is to find the right places to get it, to prime the pump to get it going. And historically, Lawrenceburg's been trying to do that as well. So, I mean, I don't think it's anything new. It's just we have another opportunity perhaps. Okay, I'm gonna go up to,
Frank, can you recap how we're gonna, the last 3, can you recap where we are with
we are waiting on the second
proposal?
set of appraisals, and once I receive those, we will notify both boards what we have, and I mean, I get a feel for where we're at, and we'll just proceed from there.
I got one other before you move on anywhere else, if you're going to the next page. What's this 19 East William Street, current homeowner interested?
That's wrong. Although I did get a phone call right before I came down here about that one, but I'm not prepared to discuss that tonight. But I am going to go one above it. I'm going to go to 531 Walnut. Okay, there's been references to this development earlier this evening, and we've worked to extend a 1-year guarantee to that particular piece of property at 531 Walnut that the redevelopment owns to the development because it's a key piece. Now, that development ranges, from $3 million to $10 or $12 million depending on the availability of property and financing and so forth. One of the things that we discovered during the discussions, though, is that if we develop that end of town and get some retail down, on the first floor, retail, commercial on the first floor, and some offices, maybe some some combination of that we run into a parking problem pretty quick on Walnut Street. It was kind of an outcome of a conversation. So, just very preliminarily, that maybe a way to assist would be to participate in some parking down on the bottom section, down by the baseball field in the park, that would add additional parking capacity for that facility, which would probably would require, and I'm really getting out here now, is maybe like the elevator and stair structure over in front of Ivy Tech Garage. I mean, we may need a way to get people from the ground level parking up to Walnut Street to do their shopping and their business. That's very conceptual, but I just want both boards to equally understand that, part of that project, to get it to work, may require some assistance on our part, or at least consideration.
Well, the law says, according to Low Miller, the law says that for any retail spots or for residential, you got to have X number of parking spots. And with Walnut Street, there's not there. But I would think that that's the way Low Miller, like Paul or somebody said earlier, that may be the way that they're wanting us to maybe participate later in the project if the project goes through.
That'd be part of his presentation to us?
Yep.
I would think.
We wouldn't get involved in any of the building. We would just be either a loan or a grant type situation, depending on what they came to us with.
Yeah, and, getting, see if the space, preliminary, I think you kind of figured out about how many parking spaces, but, again, so everybody's on equal ground here, knowing what the conversations are, what our commitment was for that 1 year on that particular lot, was to vet this development project out and see what the upside is, and see if we can get that upside, or if we have to scale back. We just don't have all that yet, but now you know where we're at.
Brian, in all fairness to the council, they should know the inception of this plan. When Andy brought this to us, it was for us to relinquish one lot to him, and he was buying two lots from Mike Knoll. Since then, they have expanded the idea to take it all the way to both ends. So that wasn't the original plan that was brought to redevelopment. We were updated on the possibility of that recently, but we've never shared any conversation with that, just so the entire board up here understands that. We were actually possibly going to sell him one lot cheaper if he made the deal with Mike, and he hadn't made the deal yet, but he did shortly after we said we would work with you. But this whole idea of the parking garage and everything else was Andy's concept to put with his building going up. Okay, so I'm just letting everybody know that redevelopment was only in it to a certain point. And then I think Brian took over with him as Dell did. So he has not come back to us with any additional information.
He should be though, right, with the,
Well,
he's working.
We just haven't heard from him yet.
That's what I heard, he should be working on it from the meeting that I attended anyway.
Yeah,
Brian, I didn't miss anything there, did I?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure that everybody's clear, if that development goes to its maximum potential, then, we may have to consider some involvement
Well, he
in
was
that.
considering partnering, was going to partner up with Mike possibly, because Mike has two additional lots.
Right.
Next to the two that he's purchasing from Mike.
Okay. God, this is easy.
What's easy? You're not asking for any money, that's why.
Yeah, not this week. A couple other, I think, priority properties that we should discuss, Durbin Plaza, the Lotus property, and I'm going to throw in the Maple Street properties over here that we've had some environmental issues with. I guess, kind of need to determine, I think the Lotus property's highest and best use has as I've seen and have heard, has always been designed for a higher density, higher end condominium community overlooking the river. We haven't really talked a lot about Durbin Plaza, what the highest and best use might be for that, but mixed use, an office building, some sort of commercial space, I mean,
I got a question. Just seems like we think and think and think and dream, but we don't focus. And I guess my point here is that how much can we afford? We're talking about riverfront development. We're talking about having guys take the next year and do a study on a project on Walnut that might go from $2 million to $10 million.
That's not ours,
But they're gonna come to us.
Right.
We pretty much know that,
for some piece.
for something.
What was that
So
one?
I guess my point is now we're going over here to the Dibburn Plaza. I think we bought it. I think we cleaned it up. I don't know why we need to get in a hurry, but I've never heard from the group yet of how much we're committing to the riverfront development, and I just wonder, I don't know about high-end condominiums. Are we looking for a developer? Are we gonna end up having to put some of our money in? I mean, where's all the money coming from?
We had talked just recently, not to share your talk, but the Lotus property, the Durbin Plaza property, and Maple Street, we had talked about offering out to, there's a list of developers that are looking in cities like ours, okay? Offer those 3 properties out to them as something to consider, to come in and purchase. You got a high-end piece of property probably down there at the Lotus property, you got commercial over on Durbin Plaza, and you got maybe some kind of a housing project on Maple Street. So it fits, 3 different types of, so we weren't looking for us to do anything.
Okay.
I think it was just, we were wanting to maybe package them or send them out to these developers and say, hey, come and take a look.
All up in the interest.
Yeah.
Of course.
And there are brownfield grant opportunities, and this particular group of developers have access or know the process for getting federal funds to help remediate places like that are in an area where we've lost the power plant. And I mean, there's so the specific group of people has specific skills or experience in this kind of thing, and as we understand it, their property inventory is running low as well, so that's
good.
that's good for us. So
The other properties I don't really mind, but the one over to Dibburn Plaza, I'd like guys to think a little bit about somehow or another. That's the last piece of property that we've got that ties into our park. We've got an awful nice park. I've kind of stayed out of Fall Fest, not a big fan of it. However, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. And I was just wondering if anybody's ever put any thought into turning it into our new location somehow or another, and the design for the future of Fall Fest. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Do we do anything?
I'll defer to the mayor.
Don't do that to me.
Too early, man, too early.
Hey, I'll let Tony answer this one. I'll let Tony answer it.
Too early.
I wouldn't even have it.
I tried to, I tried. Right, Tony?
He tried.
I did try.
Well, I'm just saying, I just hate to see that decision made on a piece of property like that, and then we got nowhere to go with our park.
I think that we need to look at a development. We have a good park system, Paul. I'm giving you my opinion. We have a good park system. But somewhere down the road, and I don't know when that road is, but somewhere down that road, we're gonna need all the property taxes that we can get. So my personal opinion is, we've got all kinds of places to put the Fall Fest if that continues. But we only have so much vacant property. And if we can get a developer in there to buy that and pay property taxes to us, I think we're further ahead. That's my opinion.
Well, one thing, I sort of concur with Paul. I mean, if you want somebody to move into your town, you have to have a nice park system.
We do have a nice park system.
We do, but it can be a lot better. I personally think in the future, and I'm saying the future, the adult center should be moved because that building is in such horrible shape, and all that could be added to the park.
Well, we're gonna put some green space, proposed green space, down on High Street. I think if you walk about 50, 60 feet, you're in the darn park. You don't have to walk that far, and you walk across that $1 million bridge that was built, and you're across that pond.
Okay, just to bring everybody, just because I got a couple more things I want to get to. Remember what the purpose was tonight, and just for the sake of the argument about the 3 properties that we just mentioned, I mean, it's not costing us anything. We'll continue to just kneel around with it, and I'm certain that whoever looks at it will take into consideration the surrounding areas and what fits within that. And goodness knows we're a long way and a lot more conversations from getting close to anything on those.
And remember, any developer would come back with something, we don't have to accept it.
And he'll bring a presentation before redevelopment.
Yes. And council.
Why isn't Short and High on this list? Or is that not redevelopments? It's a big lot.
You always want to talk about something that's not on my agenda, Tony.
I'm talking about empty lots here,
Which short and high?
where they do the parking lots. The
Where's it going
parking
there?
lot next to the firehouse.
We just talked about
We talked about that.
Not Short and High. That was the buildings. I'm talking about across the street.
Well,
the
we
empty
just
lot.
referenced them that was part of that
Oh, okay.
block that we could, as Paul referenced, have control of, perhaps. So, and there's been discussion in the riverfront development. 8 minutes? All right, does anybody, we need to take a restroom break before 6.
I have one question about one of your agenda items. I'm not like Tony.
Sure that.
The Maple Street stuff, how hard is it going to be to allow residential there?
Well, it would have to be capped and sealed.
Okay.
Okay, but that's, and there's some remediation involved probably at some limited extent.
Okay.
If we get our brownfield grant, we'll be able to assess that.
We're not
We can
looking
assess
for-
it anyway, but
We're not
hopefully
looking
we'll
for
get some assistance.
residential there, are we, or are we
me?
looking for, do we want to use that for residential or non-residential?
housing.
Could be.
Could be.
I mean, it's going to be up to you guys, but I mean,
Yeah.
a person that wants to develop, I mean, could make it into
Apartments?
apartments, senior housing,
Senior
whatever.
Hey, Brian, just real quick, those brownfield grants, can you apply for those anytime?
We have an application in now, and we're actually applying for the second piece of that, which is the assessment part. The first one's
We should know about the first one at the end of December.
Awesome.
Is that right? That's right, isn't it?
The only
Yes.
reason I ask, I didn't know if like council or redevelopment approved to go forward with some of these other properties. I didn't know if you could apply for any grants for those as well. I didn't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But it's a good question.
Okay.
We'll make a note.
Sounds good.
Because, by the way, I mean, since you brought that up, I will tell you that most of the properties we've talked about will be on the inventory for what you just brought up.
Okay.
So I think the answer may be yes, and I don't know how far you can get on something before it disqualifies it because of the, where you're at in the process of redevelopment, but all those properties are listed will be listed on our inventory.
Okay. I was just curious.
That's really the major things tonight that I wanted to get to. There's a few more things that we'll be discussing in the redevelopment meeting next week that we can fill you in on. And I'm more than happy to not have to call a special meeting, but just appear as an agenda item occasionally and give you some updates in your regular scheduled meetings, if that makes more sense, instead of, just so you know. We do have 5 homes in various stages. Dearborn Plaza is still on schedule. We still have 2 major tenants. One is already
Looking to open.
Another one is biting at the bits to get in there. And the Premier Energy project is still on course to get in this year as well. So had some small business grants to get some people relocated downtown. And we've wrestled with those a few times on what the best way to handle those are. But all in all, it's been healthy, sometimes a rough discussion, but I think it's going to be good for downtown in the long run.
Good.
Brian, can you share who any of the new tenants are at the Kroger Plaza?
Tractor Supply.
You're still on board?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're ready to open. They want to open probably, hopefully, in
The IG.
They've got a Tractor Supply as a sign on it.
yeah.
How about the grocery store?
It's going to be more of like a Whole Foods.
Okay.
Dunham's drug their feet, the sporting goods store. And so he had an opportunity to grab a whole, I think it's what it's called, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Whole Foods. So it'll be a nice,
So the sporting goods thing is.
no, they drug her feet, they didn't want,
Just curious.
so it'll be a nice addition down there.
Yeah.
Tony's giving me the signal.
I can bring up some more properties here, it's not listed, you want.
Well, you write them all down and give them to me tomorrow, and I'll get ready for you. all right?
He's trying to get me to.
There are a lot more to discuss, but I thought those were the most pressing in terms of, everybody understanding what the total commitments could be. As to Paul's point, where do we end? Hopefully, we get this pump primed and the private investors want to get down here. And who knows, it may not be too long before we get a lot of demand for things like that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, any comments from the audience? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you, everybody.
You make coffee?
On the back.
That was good timing.
Put this over here. That's my Gatorade. It must be set out there for Mooch when he gets here.
What's that?
Set this out here for Mooch when he gets here.
I thought that was a executive session. You know it?
There he is.
They must have thought that was an executive session.
Did Carrie call you today?
I guess that
Right here. Didn't call you about the 4:30 meeting today? Well, we just talked. We just reviewed only. He told me she was calling you. Did I ask her?
Yeah.
No.
Good too. We had a work session, executive session.
News reporter?
Second, we had that meeting at 4:30, 5 o'clock meeting was redevelopment and council. It would have been boring.
Hey, how you doing, babe?
Yeah, just come over and I'll take it anytime.
We're good.
Yeah. Anytime you want to go, just let me know. All right? Like 11:30 or noon. Is that cool? All right, come over and see me.
Hey, Chief, thank you, sir. Did you get my email? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. I talked to Nick, but he's out of town.
You ever met my girlfriend?
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks.
I'm texting her too.
Okay.
Yeah, baby, she forgot. She never forgets.
Okay.
Be available or not? Yeah, with fall break, that's fine. Yeah, if you can just,
Let's just see,
we'll just change the dates and that'll be fine. Okay? Thank you.
Just saying. I was gonna take some notes, only note I got on there.
Yeah,
Walnut Street project, maybe
let him go, yeah. Yeah, good.
Where's that?
That's crazy.
Diane's here.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, either one. Just whenever, one day this week.
Yeah. Keep him busy.
No problem.
No, it's all right.
I didn't want to leave you out if you want to answer.
I appreciate that, Johnny.
We have one more of them to leave up there for,
He's getting the boat.
Well, no, I love the direction.
Yes, sir. I didn't go. My friends all went. Right.
And then he barely makes a second.
Well, they tipped it. They tipped the one over there. Right, like he's a hero. Oh, yeah.
I just knew, just when he missed it.
I run him out on a rail.
Oh, they would have.
Touched base with him. They carried him around town. It's the only time kickers get laid.
We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
We might be all right.
Yeah, well.
Where's Tony? Oh, we can go, Board of Works in.
Okay.
Okay.
Doing okay?
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting for October 3rd, 2016. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Member Alan Calloway. Here. Police Chief Don Combs. Here. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. Here. EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Dale Wilton.
Here.
Utility Director Owen Clausen. Present. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements? Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
How we doing?
Good. How you doing?
Everybody should have a copy of the run totals for September. We had 63 total runs. It's actually, puts us somewhere around 540 runs for the year, which is a lot. So, next thing I have, just let everybody know, Aurora Fire reached out to us Thursday morning, and they had some issues with traffic through their Farmers Fair Wednesday nights, so they borrowed our water barricades to help Thursday morning, picked them up Sunday. And then we are in the process of acquiring applications for a vacant position in the fire department. And I didn't know if the Board of Works had anybody want to sit in on any of the interview process. I want to help that out too. That's kind of
When is that, Johnny? What'd you say?
We're taking applications and
Oh.
looking for see an interview process. We're just reaching out if anybody was interested.
When do you guys want to sit in on that?
Do you have a date or anything?
I mean, I honestly, Johnny, I'm kind of counting on you. You guys are gonna have to work with the people. And same as we told Donnie, I mean, you guys are professionals. I don't know much about your trade. And just, all I ask of you is do a good job and hire a good person for the city. That's all I ask.
all I had, Mayor.
Okay, Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Gave the board an updated new copy of the quick response team,
Yes.
which this was our kickoff day today. Today is the day that we are starting this. What I would like to do tonight is present this to the board, and I would like to implement this into our standard operating procedures. So we have that's in our procedure book. And if you would still recommend that, if you want to pass that along to council, we'll go through you further.
So you're looking for this group to send it off to council with a favorable, if so, they choose?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we accept it and pass it on.
Second?
One question.
Yes, sir.
And Donnie, you've obviously probably talked to the fire department, EMS and CAS, everybody's on board with it?
Yes, sir.
And I second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let me just reiterate, Donnie has been a key component of this, as well as Johnny and Bobby, working with community mental health, because they'll have an addiction counselor to be part of this as well. But we've had committee meetings in the mornings, 7:30 on Fridays for, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, I guess, and we get great attendance. People are really concerned about this, so I'm excited about our group taking it forward and trying to be the example for the county and southeast Indiana, so it's a good job by those guys over there, so. Anyway, go ahead. Anything else?
The thing that I have, Mayor, is we are finished with our pre-basic reserve classes, finished last week. We will have a total of 13 reserves that passed this class. And everyone did a great job. Everyone passed. Everyone did a great job on this. And they won't start working this year. We're going to do some more. They're on a probationary period, basically. We're going to do some more training.
So that'll be in January then for? Yes. Okay, all right.
That's all I have.
Great. Just want to pass along, EMS Director Bobby Mills got called out of town, I believe, for a funeral, so please remember him and his family. New business. I don't have anything tonight, guys.
I kind of got one, and I don't know if it's the right place or anything, but I was wondering, on the Fall Fest beer gardens, is there a contract with the Legion that they automatically get that every year, or?
It's a 1 year, it's a year-to-year contract.
I mean, is there a way that possibly if there's other nonprofits that are interested could put their name in and?
I'm sure they could put it out for bid, because it's a bid, I mean, there's some kind of a payback. Where's Tony at? He knows all about this stuff. Oh, okay. How much is it? 20% or something? I don't know what it was, but it is a 1-year contract, but I would contact, at this point, contact Marie.
Now, does that all go through Anheuser-Busch or Budweiser?
I don't know. I don't know if they do one particular vendor or not, Mooch. I really don't.
That's all I had.
Okay. Anything else, guys? About old business.
Nothing.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Need a motion to adjourn.
Then we got a sheet we need to sign for the claims.
Yeah.
Tyler, do we have a sheet to sign?
What'd you do with it, Paul?
Look.
Yeah, he sent it to me. Oh, I think you passed it down.
We'll find it.
But Cheryl will find it.
I can entertain a motion to adjourn now.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Parks and playgrounds, as soon as we get seated.
Did you find it?
Yes, sir. We sure did.
Did you find it?
Yes, you've had it.
All right.
Mooch had it all.
Mooch.
Hey, I was contacting Marie.
All right, I'm sorry.
She's handled that all those years. I don't know if it's a one vendor, if it's, what's the contract?
Oh, I already got mine. You beat me. Good.
Yeah.
It was more than a year.
What are you doing?
We cut it down
Warmed up?
year to year.
Which one are you doing next?
Parks and playgrounds.
Parks and playgrounds?
Yeah. You ready?
Circulation.
Oh.
Below 7.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg Parks and Playgrounds meeting for October 3rd, 2016. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott,
Here.
member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis,
Here.
member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr. City Attorney Dal Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, announcements? Anything? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. New business. Got the Downtown Partnership Committee, Bike Share Program, Mr. Palmer.
We wanted to represent Mr. Palmer, obviously, Downtown Partnership, but we wanted to represent the bike program. It was presented to us last week in our meeting. It's something that's been on our agenda. We've been in discussions for the past 6 months about trying to look for some type of bike rental for the program of Lawrenceburg. Aurora's kind of beat us to it a little bit. They've actually done a lot of research. They had a lot to bring to the meeting. The proposal essentially ends up costing about $2,500. We're looking at 15 bikes. Aurora's looking at purchasing 15 bikes in Aurora, 15 bikes here in Lawrenceburg, and solar lock mechanisms. We were looking at maybe $3 an hour, something of that nature. You actually have a mobile app that you're able to go up, rent a bike, utilize it. We just think it's a great program when it was presented to us, and we're fully supporting it behind you, and hopefully the city would be willing to move forward with this also.
I just want to correct for the record, it was 25,000.
I can share a little bit about this program. We didn't have anything to hand out tonight because I actually got an old copy from Guinevere down in Aurora, but it really doesn't. It has their particular budget, but they've raised their $25,000. And as Mr. Palmer had said, that they were looking at purchasing 15 bikes to begin with. They were going to have 5, I think, at their trailhead, 5 at their community center, and 5 at their library, if I'm not missing that. So we wanted to give you guys the gist of it and get you the information. We'll get you all the information on it, because obviously the initial funding comes out to be, if we follow what they're doing here, it comes out to be close to 25,000. And then perpetually, though, it should pay for itself with the rentals, and that money would just go into one pot. What the whole idea behind this was to try and make it's a collaborative effort between us and Aurora. So we would have the same bikes, the same system mechanism. It would be a definite sharing program, but the income from that would stay in the program to pay for the maintenance on the bikes, or if you needed to replace a bike or something like that. Other than that, we'll be working with our bike shop owner here in town, as well as Weber Sports in Aurora, for their pricing and on their maintenance and things like that. So we'll get you all the numbers, but we wanted to make sure we brought this forward to you tonight so you guys have an understanding of what they proposed to us and we're looking at. It's really a neat program. I think it was $4 an hour, actually.
Was it $4 an hour?
Yeah.
We're definitely behind it.
Yeah, they've done all the legwork, and the Downtown Partnership Committee wanted to be the sponsor of this. But we'll get you the information, and then in 2 weeks, we'll maybe be able to take some action on it.
But that's who'll be doing all the repairs, Cyclops and Weber?
Yes, and they're going to be part of the process, because we want to make sure that both bike shops in both cities get something out of it.
Yep.
So.
Mayor, real quick, also, one of the things that Aurora's planning on doing, Mayor Cranston is,
And treasurer of the partnership.
they're having the bikes made in such a way that it will allow for sponsorship, and also on the bike racks and things. So the idea really is that to make the program self-sustaining, so that it isn't constantly needed to come back. So they are currently looking at sort of every way they can to make the bike program fund itself. And again, we think it'd be great to get people out of the hotel here in Lawrenceburg and into the downtown onto the bike trail thing, especially as we start to think about expanding the bike trails.
Have we looked at the red bike program in Cincinnati? Because I've used that, and that's a great program.
Very similar.
Much more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's a great program. But Guinevere did all the legwork. We were just recipients of her work.
Absolutely, got to give her a lot of the credit.
But they want to make it a partnership between the two cities. So
that's awesome. It's exciting.
Just being able to ride a bike, from here to Aurora, drop it off, take it back up, come back. I mean, I think it's a great program. I think it's exactly what we're looking for as far as community involvement.
Do we have any locations in mind down there? You talked like you had locations in mind in Aurora. Have we thought about where we would put them at here and how many?
Some have been discussed. I mean, obviously we have the garage, we have the hotel. If we want to integrate it somewhere down into the city, I would be all for it. I mean, obviously, like the parking lot that we have for partying in the street and stuff, why not?
or our library, even over in that area.
Yeah.
We could position them pretty, strategically. I think that would be a great idea. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I may, the goal is to have this up and running by March 2017, and the season goes March to October. And just to add to what's been said, the idea would, for all the bikes to look the same, be the same, have this, whether it's the Dearborn Trail, it's important for everything to look and feel and be the same in the program. So I think it's a neat opportunity for us.
And if for some reason, we did talk about this in that meeting too, if for some reason the first year, we'll have the initial investment, and they got their initial investment, but the first year, if it's $2,000, we're $2,000 short because it didn't sustain itself the first year or something for repairs or whatever, it would be split between the two entities. We wouldn't be responsible for the full 2,000, or it would be 1,000 from us and 1,000 from them, if that would have to happen. But we're fully believing that, and the way she's done the numbers, we think it'll sustain itself fairly easily. So we'll bring you all the information, though.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. Thank you. So I guess for sake of the agenda, could I get unless you guys want to take anything on it tonight, but otherwise I'd like to get a motion to table it if you don't want to do anything with it tonight.
Move to table.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. That's all the new business I have?
I got one thing in new business.
Yes, sir.
Talked to you a little bit earlier. I got a call from the Aurora Lions Club,
Yes.
and I don't know if this is where you want.
Yeah, that's
Can I
fine.
bring it up here?
Yeah.
I talked to some key members at the Aurora Lions Club Sunday, and they have borrowed our portable restroom for years, I guess, Dillsboro, and we've loaned it out. I went down, looked at a few things that need to be done, and I thought they made a pretty generous offer, and I'd like everybody to consider it. Don't necessarily need you to make up your mind now. If you feel like it, you can talk to some of the petties down at Aurora. What they're proposing, or what they're asking, is they would like to have that donated to them. Now, in return, what they're willing to do for that is they're willing to do all the upkeep and all the repairs on it. They're willing to winterize it. They will loan it to all the people that we've loaned it to. And they have also said this to me: guys, when you need that restroom, you can have it back. Plus, we have 2 more in really nice shape. If you want all 3 of them, you can have all 3 of them. We just, when we get it, we want it all working. They want to take care of it. They got a nice, loyal volunteer force down there, and they want us to consider it. And I told them I'd bring it up at the meeting tonight. If anybody has any questions about it, you know, we can talk about it, but that I'm bringing it up.
Any discussion? Yes, sir?
Can I give you some back history on that particular unit?
Sure.
We've had it now probably 9-10 years. We've had to replace every pipe in it on 4 different occasions. Locks, 2 different occasions. It may be a deal you don't want to pass up.
Other words, get rid of it.
Well, is anyone willing to make that into a motion?
I would like to move that we donate that to the Aurora Lions Club under the conditions that Mr. Seymour presented.
I'll second that motion.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? They got some toilets.
I'll draw it up. You get back.
Thank you, guys.
I like the idea we can use all 3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've supported them in Farmers Fair now for years, I think. I think they've been a good partner to us in a lot of ways, so.
Sure.
I think this is probably what they think is a win-win, and sometimes them gifts ain't all that great a gift.
Be careful.
I agree with you, Mario.
Okay, I guess I'll bring this up on a new, well, I'll make it old business. Anyway, any other new business? Anybody? Any old business? Today I just received, that's why you didn't get in your packet. Now, I don't expect you to do anything with it tonight. I'll get you copies of this as well, but we had asked a company to come in that does nothing but works on fields, baseball fields, because of the 2 fields we've got down here at Todd Creech, needs work. They need a lot of work, actually. But I got a quote back for each of these by, this is a gentleman from, I believe, Brookville, and he does nothing but turfs, yes, Brookville. But I'll get you the copies of these, so you guys will have them for next meeting. We've tried other people and can't get anybody to respond back, but, so I'll get you what we do have. But it's something I think if you haven't had a chance to go down there, I'm sure all of you have seen them, but if you really take a close look, there's some items that really need addressed down there. And a lot of it's drainage, things like that. And it just, need somebody to come in and do it upright and then try to maintain it that way. I think we've just, over the years, it's had some wear and tear, so. I'll get you copies of that as well, but I just wanted to bring it up, so I just received it today. No old business, I'm sorry.
Couple little things.
Yeah.
I've got a couple little projects that I'd like to see if the board would be all right putting them on the radar for this winter, kind of in the off season. Now that the market, I think they just had their last Sunday, I believe. And what I would like to see is I'd like to ask Mario if we could get some.
I think they have a couple more. Yeah.
Well, I think all I'm asking is when we're in our off season, and it's coming up, that I would like to get some proposals or somehow or another, I'd like to get that walk-in cooler fixed at Agner Hall. It's a good facility, it's a benefit to the community. Whenever they go in there, it's something that I would like to see us have some numbers thrown before us, and for us to make a decision on whether to do it or not to do it. I'd also like to get an update on the playground floors. Are we gonna get those done this year?
Scheduled.
Have you heard anything from them?
Yeah, they're scheduled for the second week of this month, so it should be the 10th.
They should be in this month? All right, and there is a shelter in the back up on the hill that I'm hoping that, can we put that out for proposal to get somebody up there to cut it, level it up, and do what we need to do with it?
It's out for quotes now.
It's out for quotes now. Good. And the trees, where are we at on the trees?
Okay, once again, I got well, Mike was intimately involved, him and Mike Abden. You might want, go ahead, you want to talk about it, Mike?
Sure. Myself and Mike Abden worked on this last week. We got some quotes turned in late Friday afternoon. Mike contacted the two contractors that you gave him. We met with both of them. Mike also contacted, I think, 2 or 3 other local tree contractors. He couldn't even get a return call from them. In fact, midweek, me and Mike met with Schulte Farms, Precision, which is a local firm that we have used, and Luther Landscaping. I did receive quotes back for the trees from 2 of the 3 contractors that met with us, Schulte Farms and Precision. We had 2 areas. One of the areas we had an optional quote on, but the Ludlow Hill Park, the trees up there, and these are trees that are in harm's way. They're not the ones, 150 foot deep into the woods. They can fall, no harm, no foul. But Schulte came in at $194 per tree, estimated total of around $98,940. And Precision came in at $138 a tree, which estimated total would be about $66,516. My recommendation would be to go with Precision at the $138 per tree. And
That's for the park.
that is for the Ludlow Hill Park, yeah, the primary quote area.
Now, is that removing the tree and the stump?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we, there again, I had Mike with me, we put this together quickly, so we had a presentation, but we didn't really have a full set of specs and standards, just to make sure that we got apples to apples on this, and I think both of us feel very comfortable with that. Now, up at the Ludlow Hill Park, we also had an optional area, which was around the lower pond, and Precision is the only one that turned an estimate in on that, and that was $210 if you remove the tree from the park, or $95 a tree if you cut them and let them fall and lay. So, that ranges, the first to remove would be around $18,900. To cut them, let them fall and lay would be around $8,550. I'll be honest with you, those trees right there, the majority of them, if they do fall, they're going to fall in the water. I don't know if we need to be so concerned with those at this time. But the first one, I definitely think that we should. So at that location, I'd like to get some direction from the board.
Well, does that include, okay, it includes cutting the tree down, removing the tree, removing the stump. Will the trees be going off-site then, or are we housing these trees somewhere?
What they will do in this, the way we took the quote to try to reduce costs, we do have our own tub grinder and we collect brush and chips, is the majority of the material will be chipped up. Only the larger stuff would be cut into 6-foot lengths, and we would accept that at our city garage compound to where we could go ahead and tub grind it and convert it to mulch later on.
And they're gonna have it taken down to city garage.
They take care of it. The only thing we have to do is, because of the large number of trees, they'll be bringing in some material. We'll just have to maybe every day or every other day, take the loader back there and just pile it up to keep the area safe and clean, so they've got room to get in there and dump.
At the garage?
Yes.
They're
Nowhere
going to
else.
take it to the garage and...
Right.
I don't know, you guys go ahead and talk about this, but I think that we ought to do the pond as well, myself.
Well,
Clean it up right.
I think you're right, and, I'd like to do it, but if you would want, we're probably gonna be doing this ain't the last time, is it? As far as these ash trees, or?
I think we're gonna get the majority of them at this time. And there again, if we happen to miss one, I think that's something we could do in-house at any given time.
We're talking about 500 trees up at the park alone, and then another 100 around the pond. There's a lot of trees.
Well, hey,
I'd like to get, we're talking, if you combine both of these quotes for both areas, it's still less than the one quote we had, but.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with Mike's recommendation.
For both areas?
Okay,
Both
just
areas.
one question on around the pond area.
Mm-hmm.
Cut and leave in place or remove?
Remove. We want it cleaned up. We want the park to be cleaned up, I think.
And now, at that one, we're not gonna get down and grind the stumps down below grade like we do up in the other. I just want you to be aware of that, and there will have to be equipment down in there, so there will be a small amount of collateral damage involved.
How big will the stumps be, that are left around the pond? How big would those, how long would those stumps be? Okay, okay. All right. Okay. All right, well, you want a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we go with the lower pond and above. And we're also taking the lower material and bringing it down to the tub grinder too.
Correct.
And the stumps will remain on the lower end, but the stumps will be removed on the upper part.
Yeah, Mike.
These trees hit the ground, they're gonna shatter. So, we can get the majority of that out of there, but, there is gonna be. We can cut down a lot of it to where it lays flat. In a year's time, that ash is gonna rot to nothing.
Right.
It does provide a little habitat for the animals too.
You'll clean up the best you can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One thing I want to say too, that I'm looking at is, it looks like you can start immediately.
Started, yeah.
That's it.
It needs to be started.
Yeah, we agree.
Now, are we gonna prioritize town above park, or have we already okayed the town, or we just? gonna start on
The
both?
town, he's starting tomorrow on downtown.
One. And we're looking at arborists to come in to recommend what to replace with for the city, for the town.
Okay.
Park. Yeah. Okay, I got a motion, do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Thanks, Mike, for, I'll
Okay,
tell Mike
we've got
Abden
one more
too.
location, Mayor.
Oh,
Sorry. Ratliff Landing down at the boat dock area. We had both of the two contractors that quoted the first one, Schulte Farms and Precision, both submitted quotes. There's plus or minus 100 trees down there, and Schulte Farms came in at $110 per tree. And their estimated total was $99,240. Precision came in at $65 per tree, and that total would be approximately $7,280. And again, my recommendation would be to go with Precision at the $65 per tree. And these will be the same as the upper part of Ludlow Hill Park. Take the trees down, they'll remove them, bring them down to us, grind the stumps down, and get rid of a major safety hazard.
need a separate motion for that one, if you want to make that. That's for Tanner's Creek. Anybody entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to proceed with that area. There's an awful lot of people down in that area too.
I'll second that.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Thanks for the work on that, Mike. I'll tell Mike Abden as well. All right, anything else under old business? All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Utility Board. I'd like to call to order the Utility Board meeting for tonight, October 3rd, 2016. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Dal Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements? Olin?
This week, all week is Public Power Week, and so, if you notice, there's a table in the lobby, and there's some donuts on that table. We're doing something each day, here in the lobby and outside. Tomorrow, we're gonna be cooking hot dogs for people, just things like that. So, if you have nothing better to do, come on in and see us, and, enjoy and help us celebrate Public Power Week. And no, we don't have any JTS burgers, Bob, that we offer. That's all I've got.
Okay. Any other announcements from anybody up here? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Any committee reports, Olin?
Yes, Your Honor. If I can find what I did with my sheet. Couple things. We talked briefly in our last meeting, month's meeting about the Whiskey City Rodeo. We met, when I say we, myself and Dwayne Richardson, who is the executive for IMEA, we met, Thursday of last week to kind of go over what the rodeo did as far as revenues, sale of our T-shirts, things like that up there, all those kinds of things. And so we're getting some idea, but I can give some numbers tonight, but these numbers are kind of preliminary, but they're close. With all the T-shirt sales that we had, all the participation in the vendors, some of the sponsors that are here in the room, United Community Bank, we had some tremendous sponsorship and just involvement from the community. This does not account for my time, my staff's time going to events, going to meetings each month and that sort of thing. The utility just kind of bore that burden. But it looks like after everything's all said and done, we're around $8,000 net on the event. What that does for us is give us a couple things. Number one, I'm going to propose in one of our future meetings that regardless of it being an IMEA rodeo, we want to do the second annual Whiskey City Rodeo. And there's a few reasons for that. But first and foremost, the IMEA, because of the success of the rodeo and all the positive feedback that we got, they would like for us to consider making this the permanent home for the IMEA Lyman Rodeo, which I think is a fantastic thing. And I say that because I got a note here today from Bob Ogle. He sent this to me and asked me to read this in the meeting. He wasn't able to be here tonight. His bartender called in sick, so he says, if you'll please read this for me. If not, I'll be at the next one to give this report. He says, as far as the Lyman Rodeo goes, it did at least 3 times more business for us than the bicentennial activities, boat races, bike races, all combined. Also, the 100 to 150 people that we met really became temporary regulars for us. So they were, I'm assuming they spent a lot of time in there having cold drinks.
Is that a good thing or bad?
You know, well, from his perspective, he says they were great people. He said they loved what we had to offer and we loved having them. This is an event that needs to be brought back if possible. He said, I feel this needs to be a priority and I want to go on the public record and state that. We've had a lot of similar comments from the businesses downtown, and I think that maybe what this event brings that is slightly different is the people come into town and they stay, and they're just community members from other municipalities that come into town, and number one, they get out and they look around the city. So when you get a bunch of utility directors and people of that, kind of that, made of that cloth in town, they want to see what your community looks like. They drive around, they go up to Greendale, they go down to Aurora, they look around, and they make those comments to you about how nice things look, and if there's bad parts of your electrical utility, they point that out too. But the point is, they get out and they look around, and they spend time in the community. They go in the shops and things, because that's what they do at home in their communities. And they bring their families with them. So if you noticed, there was a lot of small kids running around with these people. So they go in the shops, and they find things to do with the kids. So that's a big thing. 2 other events have kind of, potentials have kind of spurred out of this, those being the IMEA does a climbing school twice a year. And they have anywhere from as few as 15 to as many as 30 people who participate in the climbing school, and those schools last for 2 weeks. They would like to host those here in Lawrenceburg as well. So you'd have all of those people here in town for a full 2 weeks at a time. At the climbing school. So that has the potential to have a very positive impact on our downtown area where all these activities would be focused. So when I get the firm numbers, I don't expect them to change very much. I'll give that final report, but I did want to give some information as to kind of where we stand and what the intent of that money would be, which would be to go back into additional events similar to this, and improve on them, make them better, more inclusive of the businesses downtown, of the schools especially. One thing I would like to do with the IMEA's permission and this board's permission is we had 3 auxiliary groups, the football, the girls basketball, and the cheerleaders that all participated and helped. I would like to and it's not much in the way of money and difference in what they made up there feeding the contestants and stuff. But I would like to make a contribution to the other 2 to bring them up equal to the one who did the best, which was football. So we would like to make a contribution to the cheerleaders and to girls basketball so that they all come away with the same benefit for their time as what the football did.
Good idea.
So it really was an event to give back to the community. If we'd have lost a little bit of money or broke even, I'd have been ecstatic. So that's my report on that.
Good. Any questions? You want some permission to give them back that money, or?
I would like for that.
You know what the number is, or?
It's about $500 to the cheerleaders and about the same to the girls basketball.
Okay. Can I get that formed in the form of a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Thank you.
Now, did you just cover that under new business?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Okay, I didn't want to rehash it. All right, any other new business? Owen, I think you got his a new server purchase that we
I did.
faced with.
I sent an email out to all of you just really when we were in the throes of Fall Fest, talking about our server that houses all the emails and different data sets for all of Civil City, EMS, and fire. That server, on multiple occasions, had to be physically restarted, and it was starting to make some noise that servers aren't supposed to make. And so what we did is with the help of Neil Brown from Crawfordsville Electric, who we went and met with and toured and looked at their facility, with the help of Neil, we went out on the market and looked at some server equipment to kind of replace what we have. With the goal being to get something that was scalable, that we, through our IT committee, could look to include other city departments into that same server so we could consolidate and have a lower cost of ownership per capita. We bought a unit that was not out of date. It's still the very cutting edge of technology, but the way that the segmentation on the terabyte servers is staged, they did come up with a new model this next year that they're rolling out. And I'm sorry, I know it's very thrilling stuff. What that meant for us at the city is we were able to save about $66,000 off of this equipment.
I don't need an interpreter for that.
Yeah. So, very, very cutting edge piece of equipment, very scalable. Will do the city multiple years of service from this point moving forward. It's already been shipped. We expect to have it in place really in the next 2 to 3 weeks done. And so what I would like to do is we've ordered that. It's on its way. The intent is to fund that out of the Utilities Non-Reverting Capital Fund.
It was a necessity, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I would consider that an
emergency.
essential piece of equipment, an absolute emergency.
You just want a motion to accept it?
Yes, sir.
All right, can I get a motion to accept the purchase of the SAN server?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion will carry.
That concludes my business, Your Honor.
And no old business?
I do have one announcement and update. Periodically, I've been telling the board about kind of what's been happening up at Riviera Apartments. I did get an email tonight from Mr. Strout asking me to clarify one point. In one of the previous meetings, I mentioned that we are asking them to agree to terms that aren't dissimilar from the terms that are in, and I mentioned FHA. It wasn't FHA, it's their lending company, whatever their financier is with the bank. So just to clarify, not FHA, but a lending institution. Secondly, just to kind of give everybody the lay of the land, since March, I've been working to try to get this development agreement for extending services solidified with them. We thought that we had gotten to that point on the 28th of June. We had been on a conference call. We all agreed conceptually as to how we were going to move forward in the agreement. The request that I made of them was that each week, if things changed, that they should reach out to me and let me know where they were, bring me up to speed so that I could report that back to you all. The only week that happened was the week immediately following that June 28th call. That was the only call that came to me unsolicited. Ever since that time, all of the calls, all of the emails, all of the voicemails, etc., have been from me to them, asking them where are we at, I need some updated information, etc., etc., to which I received none. Fast forward to just the recent activities, because of really, in my opinion, their inactivity and failure to plan, they brought about what they considered an emergency. And we worked to try to accommodate this self-inflicted emergency, and I believe that we have. But it is very important that, just like we did with AEP and the agreement that we move forward with them to secure our capital, and really to justify the expense, it is very important that the city of Lawrenceburg Municipal Utilities as well, that we get a firm agreement in place as to how we are going to spend this capital towards their project. And it's important, I don't want to say too much here, because obviously they watch our meetings on YouTube, but it's very important from a couple different perspectives. I think initially when they sat down with the city, they made certain promises, to which the city made certain concessions to have that development, and this is unrelated to utility infrastructure. And if they're going to make changes in those plans, it's something that the city has a vested interest in addressing. And so I appreciate the support from the Utility Service Board. The mayor was really played a big part in us trying to get to the table and negotiate those things. We're currently still working to do that. But that's really all that I have to report on that, other than just we need to be diligent and make sure that we're doing right by our investments, and that we are not putting ourselves in a position where we become the second or third or the fourth thing on their list of things that are important for them to do as far as following through on their obligations.
Thanks, Olin. Anything else under old business?
No, sir.
All right, anybody up here have anything to add?
I got a request.
Yes, sir.
Being how we're in budget time for our civil city, I'd like to make a request that the utility board, can you put together what your next year's budget will be? And also, could you give us an idea of what possible capital projects you might want to be interested in?
I can. I've got the next 4 years completely plotted out. I made some adjustments to that today, kind of in preparation of meeting with you earlier today,
Okay.
but I don't have any issue. I'd really like to set a work session where we can talk about some of those capital plans and just really get your guys' input. But I've got, to answer your question, yes, absolutely.
Good.
And then the other thing I'd like to get is, can I get an update on the Center Street project we got going on? And I guess my concern is getting it patched. Winter, the asphalt, you guys might be able to, or maybe you've made a call, but when's everything closing up? How close are we to this? And my other question is if we can't get it all done, are we still eligible for this grant? I think it was called a community crossing grant, if it goes into next year. So those are my questions.
First, on where we're at in the project, we're probably about 30 to 35% complete with the project. I did meet with Judy McAdams this morning about the community grant, crossing community grant.
Community crossings.
Thank you. And I submitted to her our entire proposed budget for Center Street. And I got word from her late today, just really before these meetings, that we wouldn't qualify for any of those monies. I don't know exactly why. Otherwise, she sent what I had to her as far as the budget and what our expenses were going to be. And I don't know if there's certain criteria that we didn't meet. I don't know exactly what it was, but apparently, Mike, maybe you know more.
Yeah, they've got a fairly strict criteria for what that money is for. And there again, this year's go around, when I say this year, that's the state fiscal year, which goes from July to July. We've already been awarded on 2 projects. That money can only be spent on those projects. One is Walker Street rebuild. The second is the Tribble Road rehab, which includes both street repair overlay and stormwater. And to answer one question, yes, it can go into next year. That's no problem. It's just those monies that we were awarded have to go specifically to the projects that we were awarded on. And
Now, did they turn us down on that?
No, that wasn't originally, it was not originally proposed to them. This project wasn't. The other 2 projects were, those were the 2 that were approved.
I know I was under the impression that it was gonna be turned in, because if I remember right, it was a $60,000 cost, and
I'd have
that's
to,
part of what,
I'd have to think, thinking back through the timelines when this whole concept of getting these grant monies or the monies for this, I know the question was asked, but I don't know if we were too late to the table at that point.
We were too late. I do not believe just patching for a utility project meets our criteria, but, and Paul, to answer your question, the two projects we were awarded on were much more expensive than what the patching was gonna be. I mean, we're getting more money.
can we turn his road work in on next year's application?
I don't know that.
Well,
I read that application, and I'm gonna tell you something, did we even turn it in? Because they
We
encourage things.
we turned in two applications, and at the time, it had to match up with the street inventory asset management plan. That was not done, that was not included in that asset management plan.
It was a timing thing, Paul.
The submittals were only permitted if they were part of that plan.
But we've got money that was rebated back to us from the, out of the 331,000.
We have some WOIP funds that.
We got some money that we can put
Since we were
towards it.
awarded here, we won't be spending some of the budgeted monies.
Yeah.
To where we
So
should.
we do have a little money to help him on
Yeah.
that project.
Sure.
Okay, then.
Because the original money that we were gonna spend that money, remember we got that money back and 75% had to be used for roads and bridges and 25% could be used for any lawful use.
Okay.
And we got money left out of that because of the budgeted monies that we didn't spend.
Yes, timeline is when that.
Yeah, so I've got a number of projects that we could probably talk about in the work session. I can talk with you anytime about them. But a couple things. Number one, if I classify it as a utility patching job, when I could word it differently?
And Olin, today I can't answer that. I've heard that we don't even know when the submittal deadlines are for the next go-around. And it sounds like the criteria may change. My opinion, I think they're going to open it up a little bit more, but until we get that information, I can't answer that.
Okay, well, maybe I can work with you and Judy on that and just be prepared to submit whatever we do. And if it means moving from a 9-foot wide strip that we're paving to maybe something a little more inclusive or overlaying the road or something like that to qualify, I mean, we just need to have the discussion, I suppose.
And there again, I've still got to get some more information on what the criteria is going to be. The criteria for this last go-round, I don't believe that would have.
Well, here, this page right here just opens it all up. I mean, regionally significant economic development project means a transportation project that is on a facility which serves regional transportation needs. Now, such as access to and from the area outside the region. I can't think of Center Street in any of our streets. We've got a county courthouse, we've got a casino, we've got a new convention center. They're all bringing in people from outside our
It
area.
is, Paul, but that's not everything listed. And one thing you have to remember, that was not a transportation project. That was a utility project located in a public street.
Here's the other
There is a
thing.
difference.
They want us to submit these things, and we want local people to submit these projects. They want to be the ones to say that we're gonna turn them down. What I want out of this group is let's do the work, let's get projects on the ball, and let's let them turn us down.
Well, Paul, this one would have been submitted, but it was a timing thing.
What about in the future?
Well, we can do that.
Okay, I just don't wanna say, hey,
They said
this
it'll be
one
on next
doesn't
year.
qualify. Let's let them tell us it doesn't qualify.
They'll be on next year.
All right.
But in the
If
future,
there's money that needs to be.
in the future, I won't go back and put any gravel in there and it'll switch from a utility project to a road issue. It'll be a road project after that.
Okay. Any other old business? Paul? All right, I need a motion to accept the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, before we start the council meeting, we'll have to open up our public budget hearing for the public as we advertised at 7 o'clock. At this point, I'll take any comments or questions from council. Any proposed changes from council?
For budget?
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm not really ready to do changes. I thought we were gonna have another talk. Are we gonna vote?
Well, no, there's no vote tonight. This is just a hearing. Yeah, no. Okay, I'll take comments and questions from the public. All right, well, I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, at this point then, I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg City Council for October 3rd, 2016. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right, announcements. I'll take announcements from up here. Anybody on the board? Council? I've got a number of things here just to remind everyone of. We need to set another meeting for the racetrack RFP, to revisit that. So I'll get a hold of yous and we'll get something set up. And one thing I guess I just wanted to run this by you is we got a call, the Girl Scouts that got Agner Hall rented from October 11th to the 13th. They want an additional day on October 10th. They need it for setup. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware that if it's okay if we grant them use of that for October 10th at no charge, since we've charged them for the other 3 days.
Is that, did you say for Agner Hall?
Yes.
Did they check to see if it was booked?
I think they did, but we'll make sure that they call.
Okay.
But I don't think the 10th was it, because they were using it 11th, 12th,
I just know they
and
keep it in the
13th.
calendar, the dates or
Yep.
whatever.
No
All
problem.
right.
Well, I guess they didn't want to do anything until we got permission.
Okay, that's fine.
Any questions about that, guys? They also wanted to see if they could have permission during those 3 days to use the flagpole over, I guess, for their Girl Scout flag as well. It'll be in addition to the American flag, I'm sure. You guys okay with that too? Okay. We'll make that call tomorrow and... Okay, really, I think that's the only announcements I have.
Mayor, I have
Board?
more of a question and announcement. Didn't know if the council had no time for the trick or treat for Halloween this year.
Yeah, I was gonna cover that in new business, but that week, it'll be 6 to 8 on October 31st,
On a Monday then?
on the Monday. That's what you all have done in the past, isn't it, Aaron?
Yeah.
On the day of?
Mhm.
Okay. I do want to remind people, I think October 27th is the Halloween Sensation, or where is the name of it, at the firehouse?
It's Thursday of the month.
Okay, that's October 27th.
Mayor, I did have one thing. October 9th to the 15th, Fire Prevention Week. Remind everybody, change their, now the promoting, rather than change your smoke, your battery, change your smoke detector, if anything goes. Touch base with that?
Thank you. Okay, reports from council, streets, alley, and curbs, Aaron Cook.
Yeah, I got a few here, Mayor.
All righty.
About a year ago, I called Mike about the alley between, behind the dollar store, between Tate and Center, the new alley. Since they put that new alley in, there's some of the yards, most of them are pretty even along with the alley, but there's a few at the end where there's like 20 feet. And those people are wondering, is that their property? Are they able to use it to move back their fence? Because now basically their fence looks like it's in the middle of their yard. It's not comparable to all their neighbors. They were wondering if they can move their fence back to the alley and maybe pull in where they can pull a car back there. So told them I'd bring it up at this meeting. Maybe Mike knows more about it, maybe.
I'll actually, yeah, we're working on that, but I'm gonna let Dell address that.
Yeah, that's something that we're working to fix right now.
Okay.
And we're along in the process, so.
Okay, the people that call me, if you guys want to take a look, it's 211 West Center. And then when I went by and looked at it on the way here, even just to look at it again, it's been about a year before the alley was completed. It's probably 20 feet from the alley to the back of their fence now, so it looks like everybody's fences and yards go here, and since the alley's in, theirs is way back here, so it kind of doesn't blend in.
What they'll end up receiving is half of the dedicated 16-foot alley right-of-way.
Okay.
So wherever their property line was originally, they will receive 8 additional feet.
Okay.
But there's public hearings, there's a process that legal is working through right now to be able to do that.
So at the minimum, they're going to gain an extra 8 feet?
Yes.
Okay, and what, I don't know much about it, but how likely is it to where they can put a pad or pull into their own yard from the alley in the future?
All they'll have to do is come in, get a permit from me to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be theirs. And it's just a product, Aaron, of the way the end of that alley kind of went down. It was
there's only
not
like
really finished, and so we're working. Mike right away when we started noticed that that's something we needed to correct to finish that alley up, add on to those parcels to make it even.
Okay.
You know, where it dipped down before, because the alley never really went all the way through.
Yeah, and it's just those last few, right?
Yeah.
There, toward Cook.
think
3? That's what I think, 3. Yeah.
I think there's 4 total.
4, okay.
There's 4
It's
lots.
been a while since I've actually looked at the property.
Okay, when do you think we can get this all straightened out, just so it's a general timeline, so I can,
I'll say in the next maybe 2 months from my last meeting with Tom Blundell.
No problem.
2 or 3 months?
Probably,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, will that allow those people to possibly put a garage in the back and have access to that alley to a garage? What we're working on?
If they have enough room, some of them, no, their structures are too far back, but no, if there is room, they can put a garage up, because it'll be right of way to private property. It'll be normal permitting process.
Okay, so these people have 20 feet, say, the yard I'm talking about, 20 feet, so they get 8 feet, so there's still a gap there. I mean, at the minimum, they get 8.
It'll be public right of way, but there again, you come in, that's no different than any other street or any other alley that you build, either a principal structure on the street or a secondary structure in the rear. You still exit the asphalt or the pavement and cross a small amount of public.
So all likelihood, say if they get the 8 feet, but all likelihood they can move their fence back a little bit, put a little pull in back there, you think?
They can move their fence back 8 feet.
Can't build a garage.
Okay. So even though they move their fence back only 8 feet, could they still pour concrete in the
the other area?
They could,
Had to get a
they could do a
permit.
driveway.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's all they're looking for.
Concrete the whole area.
No, they just want a driveway, because they want to put a back gate back,
Yeah.
basically back in the back of their fence, because they don't have one now. They put a concrete driveway they could pull in there, say if they want to, put a car or whatever, and have company, I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but something similar to
Yeah,
that.
they can do that. I think there was one property where one individual may actually have enough room to build a garage
Yeah.
in his backyard
Okay.
now. So yes, they.
Just
they
like
will
on
be able
Bilby
to do
Road,
that.
Aaron, our driveway is probably 15 feet through state right away.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay. Okay, I'll let them know tomorrow, and tell them be about 2 or 3 months to try back. I'll give them a call. That was the first thing. The second thing is, I have quite a few streets call me about when their street sweeper schedule is.
Oh.
Is there any way we can get a schedule where I can know, like, okay, Walnut Street's this day, this time, Tate Street's this time, this day?
Are they saying it's not getting done, Aaron, or
I
they
just
just
want to know when it is, like, I don't really see it on my street too much either, but I don't know, I don't really know when it is either. They were getting done pretty quick there, but I think during Fall Fest it slacked off because we're using workers elsewhere. But we were supposed to set up a schedule and let all the citizens know on a certain date, this is when we're gonna do this street. Because some of them, they'll let their neighbors know, then they'll all move their cars or whatever, that's what they're planning on doing.
Okay.
And the other thing with the street sweeper is, I guess the signs are wrong now in front of the condos on Walnut. That's what I haven't looked at that yet, but someone said the signs in front of the condos aren't accurate anymore from when they do it. Is that,
Those are by ordinance, so the signs are accurate. I don't know.
the signs are accurate to when they're supposed to street sweep?
I don't know if they've changed up. I can't.
That's what two of the people there told me, I don't know.
Signs are set up per the ordinance.
Okay. So that should be the accurate time then. Okay.
What we'll do, Aaron, is we'll get a schedule.
Okay.
And we'll get it promoted, we'll send it out, paper and things like that,
Okay.
get promoted.
Yeah, and like if we get one up here, I mean, if someone calls us, we can say, okay, you're on Walnut, you're Monday between 7 and 9 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then the last thing is, this might be for Mario. We had that big hole at the corner of Tate Cook there a while back. Well, there's another hole there. Again, there's something going on there where these holes are,
At Tate and Cook?
Yeah.
Were they just paved?
yeah, where the one you put that metal thing over 6 months ago, whenever it's been. Now I noticed one on the other side, there was like a
Oh,
hole.
it's two separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we temporarily passed that for Fall Fest,
Okay.
and we got a contractor gonna come in and dig that
I
out.
didn't know if something was going on in the area that was causing those all of a sudden, or, I didn't
Mother
know.
Nature.
Okay.
You're hoping it's not Florida.
Yeah.
Sinkholes.
That was all I had, Mayor.
Anything? Okay, thanks, Aaron. All right, Finance, Tony Abbott?
After review, they all seem to be in order.
All right, Tony. Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Paul Seymour Jr.
I brought it all up earlier. I do have something on buildings I'd like to bring up and try to get done before winter.
Okay.
I'll just use the firehouse as an example. I look at that building and the ice guards are probably 80% gone. And then you go to city garage, most of the damage done to our gutters is because the ice guards have failed. So what I'd like to see if Mario can do is to bring us some, the type of ice guards that we put on now that you recommended.
The rail guards?
Kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that you could take each building and bring before us a cost. And I'd like to see us try to get that done before winter, if at all.
We put pricing in next year's budget for gutters and ice guards. I mean, if we wanna move it up, it'd be up to this board.
I don't need gutters right now. I mean, I especially most of the buildings that could wait till next year on the gutters is fine, but I just kinda think we got winter coming on and we just put some work into the adult center on that roof and for the ice to get on that and drop on our new flat roof there is kinda not right. And then as far as the firehouse goes, it's an awful nice building. I just don't wanna see gutters coming off of it.
I agree. The new ice guards, our new style is twice the guard,
Yeah.
Again, twice the price, but we'll get pricing for it.
If you can do each building and bring them to us, and then let's we'll make a decision, see what we can try to get done before winter,
Very good.
all right?
Sounds good.
And, that's about it.
All right, Paul, thanks. Fire report, Randy Abner?
Okay, I guess our fire prevention week is coming up, or month's coming up. You're gonna be gone this week. You're gonna be doing Sunshine Corner. Is that where you're headed to this week?
We actually started a week early or 2 weeks early.
Right.
Due to fall break. So last week we got the community schools done, and we had Sunshine Corner this week.
Okay.
That's all I have from there.
Good, good stuff. Okay, I'll accept a motion then to accept the meeting minutes from the previous meeting.
Move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We also have another set of meeting minutes that we need to get approved, and that's from the budget workshop on 9/21, so I'll accept the motion to approve those minutes.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
The only thing I have is, everybody's got a copy of September run totals. Any questions, give me a holler.
Okay. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. I gave all the council an updated quick response team protocol sheet that we had developed. And as I stated earlier, the Board of Works, I'd like to present this to the council. I would like to implement this into our standard operating procedures, so we have a protocol to go by on this here. So that's what I'm asking the council.
We need a motion to accept the QRT policies and procedures into the police department's SOPs.
So moved.
Second?
Second, I think it's a great idea that you guys came up with. Not only do those people need some help at the time, they need help afterwards, so it's a good idea. That was a second.
Okay, second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Donnie?
Mayor, just want to let the council know that we just finished our basic class for reserves, and we'll be putting on 13 guys that passed with great results on that, and they're on a probationary period right now, and there'll be some more training with us this year, and they'll start working next year.
Okay.
So everybody did really well. We're encouraged on all the people that participated very well. Doing everything I had, just missed the fall test. We actually had no problems with the fall test.
Great.
No issues at all.
Okay. Thank you. All righty. Okay, new business. Mr. Weldon, ordinance to merge the NR-LERU fund and the LERU billing.
Thank you, Your Honor. Everyone should have a copy of this ordinance included in the packets. I'm glad to answer any questions before we get started.
What's the number on it, Dale?
What is the number on it?
It's number 16.
Number 16.
Guys, just a little background on this too. Bobby Mills approached me and Brittany about this fund, and his intent was if we merge these two together, it creates some opportunities for investments. So we can take some of that funding that's not used and put that into a CD or securities, whatever it may be. So that's kind of the background there.
So Bobby's on board with it.
Yes, fully on board.
So I got a question, and I just need something explained to me. What will it be called? Which one is it merging to? Is it gonna be an NR fund anymore?
Brittany, which one will be the new one? LERU billing?
And the reason why and you guys can help me with this, the way I look at these NR funds is the money goes into this for the emergency rescue unit. And as long as it's in an NR fund, does it have to be spent on emergency rescue, or can it be pulled out and used for anything else? And if we change it to just the regular fund, can this money be taken and used for a different purpose? I want somebody to convince me that it doesn't need to be an NR fund.
Okay, there's 3 NR funds that are supported by statute, okay? Parks, fire, there's one other. But really, what matters how your money's spent in these funds is what the ordinance says. So if the ordinance says that it can be used for this, that, or the other, whatever, that's what the fund, and that, what, based upon the ordinance that goes with that fund.
That dictates what you're gonna spend it on.
That's what you dictate, that's what dictates what you can spend it on. Such as rainy day fund, your ordinance, most of the time they'll read, can be used for any lawful purpose. That means you can use rainy day fund for anything. The LER billing fund, I guess that's what this one's gonna be called after the merger. That's,
So basically, anything that they want to spend out of this fund, they would be bringing it back before us.
oh yeah.
Sentence number 5 says refunds related to LERU hospital billings or for any purpose of the LERU with approval of city council. So that means it will be spent on emergency rescue.
Yes.
That's what this is for.
Yes.
Right. And Bobby's okay with it.
Yes. We're saying that because Bobby's not here. No, he is.
I'll blow his head up.
He's the one that was brought
He
it
approached me
forward.
on it.
Okay, you need a motion?
I'll do the first reading. You guys are ready. Ordinance number 16, 2016, City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana. Merger of NR, LERU Fund, and LERU Billing Fund. Whereas the City of Lawrenceburg adopted ordinance number 2-2005 on February 22nd, 2005 to create the NR LERU Fund 409. And whereas the City of Lawrenceburg adopted ordinance number 19-2010 on December 6, 2010 to create the LERU Billing Fund 406. And whereas the Common Council now determines that the NR LERU Fund should be merged with the LERU Billing Fund to maximize efficiency and avoid waste. And whereas the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg has authority pursuant to its statutory and home rule powers to create, amend, merge, and abolish funds. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg that 1, the NR LERU Fund shall be merged with the LERU Billing Fund effective immediately and shall be treated as one fund for all purposes under law. 2, Ordinance 2-2005 shall be repealed in its entirety. 3, Ordinance 19-2010 shall be amended as follows. Excerpt from Ordinance 19-2010, additions are in boldface type, and deletions are in strikeout face type. 1, the City of Lawrenceburg shall and hereby does establish a cumulative, non-reverting LERU billing fund 406. 4, the fund shall be funded by fees received from LERU from hospital billings, gaming funds, and donations from various individuals. 5, these funds shall be spent in emergency situations to affect the LERU general budget lines, to pay insurance refunds related to LERU hospital billings, or for any purpose of the LERU with approval of the Common Council.
Okay, I'll take a motion to accept the first reading of ordinance 16-2016.
I'll make the motion.
Second? Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I do have one question, but this new fund is still a non-reverting fund?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that, but it's,
Yeah,
like it says, however the ordinance is
One
read.
part it says it's just a fund, LERU fund, and down here it says it's a
You're right, Tony.
non-reverted.
It's
reverting.
still a non-reverting fund.
Okay, all right.
You're right.
We'll move, thanks, Tony. Okay, can I get a motion now? Do we get a first and second? I need a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Can I get a motion to suspend the rules to read the second reading of ordinance 16-2016 by title only?
Second.
Who seconded it? Tony did. Pick one. You need to nudge him every once in a while, Aaron. Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Please read the second reading of ordinance 16-2016 by title only.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Ordinance number 16-2016, City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, merger of NR LEOU Fund and LEOU Billing Fund.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the second reading of ordinance 16-2016.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Together down there.
I need a motion to suspend the rules to read the third and final reading of ordinance 16-2016.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Please read the third and final reading of ordinance 16-2016 by title only.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Ordinance number 16-2016, City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, merger of NR LEOU Fund and LEOU Billing Fund.
I need a motion to accept ordinance number 16-2016.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That is so repetitive. That is such a stupid rule.
I hate it.
That is silly. Anyway. Okay. Thank you, guys. Next one is the Joint Port Authority ordinance. Which ordinance number would this be? 17?
Yes. For us.
Diane, is that right for the next ordinance? Is it 17?
Let me preface this one a little bit because I'm sure, I know you guys are aware of it, but I guess year ago or so, the city of Greendale was asked to join the local port authority. For whatever reason, they didn't respond or whatever the case may be. The new administration has responded that they would like to be a part. So that's what this ordinance is to bring them on board along with Aurora, Lawrenceburg, and the county. And every entity within this, the four entities that you see, are passing, trying to get the same ordinance passed with their particular entity. So if we could, I'd like to get ordinance, 17-2016. Could we read that, please? Are there any questions before that? I can answer if you guys got any.
Okay.
Okay. All right, sir.
This is Lawrenceburg City Ordinance 2016-17. It's a joint ordinance to amend and reestablish the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority. Whereas the cities of Lawrenceburg and Aurora, both in Indiana, previously established the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority. And whereas Dearborn County joined the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority by ordinance on October 7, 2014. And whereas the cities of Aurora and Lawrenceburg and the county of Dearborn, all located in Dearborn County, Indiana, have determined that it is in the best interest of the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority and Dearborn County as a whole if the city of Greendale, Indiana, would join the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority. And whereas the cities of Aurora, Greendale, and Lawrenceburg and the county of Dearborn, all located in Dearborn County, Indiana, acting by and through their respective city councils and county commission, have determined it is in their best interest to jointly amend and reestablish a port authority for the benefit of their citizens and their communities and for the Southeast Indiana region. Now therefore be it ordained by the city councils of each of the three cities and the county commission as follows. 1. Establishment of a port authority to be known as the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority is hereby established and shall have the powers and jurisdiction enumerated and set forth in Indiana Code 8-10-5-1 et sec. as amended from time to time. Board of Directors of the Port Authority shall be governed by a Board of Directors consisting of 12 members who shall be appointed by the mayors of the three cities with the consent and advice of their respective common councils and by the county commission, whose memberships and appointments shall consist of the following categories: the mayor of the city of Aurora, the mayor of the city of Greendale, the mayor of the city of Lawrenceburg, one member from the Dearborn County Board of Commissioners, 2 at-large representatives appointed by the mayor of the city of Aurora, 2 at-large representatives appointed by the mayor of the city of Greendale, 2 at-large representatives appointed by the mayor of the city of Lawrenceburg, and 2 at-large representatives appointed by the Dearborn County Commissioners. At the time of appointment, a director must be a resident of one of the following: the political subdivision from which the director is appointed, or the county within which the Port Authority is established, provided that at all times the majority of the directors must be residents of the political subdivision from which the members are appointed. The directors of the Port Authority, first appointed, shall serve staggered terms. 2 at-large representatives from Aurora shall serve an initial term of 1 year. 2 at-large representatives from Greendale shall serve an initial term of 2 years. 2 at-large representatives from Lawrenceburg shall serve an initial term of 3 years. And the mayors of Aurora and Lawrenceburg and the Dearborn County Commissioners shall serve an initial term of 4 years. Thereafter, each successor director shall serve a term of 4 years, except that any person appointed to fill a vacancy shall be appointed to only the remainder of the unexpired vacant term, and any director shall be eligible for reappointment. The mayors of the cities who appoint their respective at-large representatives may individually remove the at-large director appointed by the respective mayor at any time for misfeasance, nonfeasance, or malfeasance in office. Procedure: the director shall elect one of the membership as chairman, another as vice chairman, and shall designate their terms of office, and shall appoint a secretary who need not be a director. The majority of the board of directors shall constitute a quorum, the affirmative vote of which shall be necessary for any action taken by the Port Authority. No vacancy in membership on the board shall impair the rights of a quorum to exercise all the rights and perform all the duties of the Port Authority. The elected chairman shall not vote on actions of the board of directors unless his or her vote is required to decide a tie vote among the other directors. Compensation of board members: each member of the board of directors shall be entitled to receive from the Port Authority such sum money as the board of directors may determine as compensation for the director's services as a director and reimbursement for the director's reasonable expenses in the performance of the director's duties. Emergency clause: this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage by all 3 cities in the county commission. Reestablishing the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority. Adoption and passage of this ordinance by the common councils of Aurora, Greendale, and Lawrenceburg, and by the Dearborn County Commission shall serve to replace and reestablish the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority previously formed jointly between the cities of Aurora and Lawrenceburg and Dearborn County.
Okay. I'll accept the motion on the first reading of ordinance 17-2016.
So move.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance 17-2016 by title only, please.
Everybody's looking.
Everybody's got an Amber Alert. Sounds like, or weather.
That's what it sounds like.
Was it weather? Oh, Amber Alert?
No.
I didn't mean to say that in jest, but anyway, okay. I need a motion to suspend the rules to read the second reading of ordinance 17-2016 by title only.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Please read the second reading.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Lawrenceburg City Ordinance 17-2016, a joint ordinance to amend and reestablishing the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority.
I need a motion to accept ordinance 17-2016 by title only.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to suspend the rules to read ordinance 17-2016 for the third and final reading by title only.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Please read the third and final reading of ordinance 17-2016 by title only.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Lawrenceburg City Ordinance 17-2016, a joint ordinance to amend and reestablishing the Southeast Indiana Regional Port Authority.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the third and final reading of ordinance 17-2016.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. I don't have any other new business. Anybody got any old business?
I do, Your Honor.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
thought we were done.
No, I'm sorry. This is the original, Tyler.
I don't think that has anything to do with the Port Authority. That's what she gave me.
This doesn't. This is a new, an item on the old business that we need to pass.
I'll have one for the 17th
Okay.
on the sign, so we're gonna sign one copy. Is that fine?
That's fine.
Sign one of these copies?
Yeah, just one of those copies.
You want to pass that around before we get to this?
Why do we need a vote? Any idea?
Do you have a resolution number, Diane?
No.
4? Okay. It's for the vote. They're going with that vote to Johnny. This is something that came up under old business, but we need to do an agreement for it. There is a boat that Dearborn County has. It's a patrol boat that Dearborn County would like to give to the fire department. And so we have to do, in order to transfer property from municipality to municipality, we just have to do mirror image ordinances. So what you'll see that's been passed out today is the agreement that we've drafted up with Dearborn County. And we will vote on the agreement, and Mayor Milano will sign that on behalf of council, but then we'll also pass a resolution. This not an ordinance, it's a resolution, yep. And so this boat it's a 2008 trophy, and this is something that we'll just go over, and I think we already have it, don't we, Johnny? Yep. So if you guys have any questions, I think Johnny can answer them, but if not, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. All right. This is resolution number 2016-4. It's a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, transferring personal property from Dearborn County, Indiana to the City of Lawrenceburg, whereas Dearborn County is in possession of personal property, that being the 2008 trophy patrol boat that was previously in service of the Dearborn County Sheriff's Department, which is no longer being used by any Dearborn County department, whereas the patrol boat specifications are as follows: 2008 trophy, 2103 center console with hull number THMA 41FAA808, registration number IN 2238AA, with a Mercury outboard motor and a matching trailer. Whereas the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana has asked Dearborn County to transfer the unused patrol boat to the City of Lawrenceburg so they may put it to use. Whereas Indiana Code 5-22-22-10A allows the purchasing agency to exchange property with another governmental body upon terms and conditions agreed upon by the governmental bodies, as evidenced by adoption of substantially identical resolution by each entity. Whereas Indiana Code 5-22-22-10B states the transfer under this section may be made for any amount of property or cash as agreed upon by the governmental bodies. Whereas the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, exchanges the 2008 trophy patrol boat is being sold as is, that they will be responsible for any maintenance on the boat, and they agree to sign an agreement to transfer personal property prior to taking possession of the vehicle. And whereas the Dearborn County Board of Commissioners are supportive of the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and believe that they would utilize the 2008 trophy patrol boat, therefore be it resolved by the Dearborn County Board of Commissioners that pursuant to Indiana Code 5-22-22-10, 2008 trophy patrol boat, currently in possession of but not being used by the Dearborn County Sheriff's Department, is hereby sold to the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana for $1, all of which is ordained by Common Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana.
Questions?
I guess it wouldn't be before us if you didn't want it.
It kind of fell in our lap. They wanted to keep Deputy Lovey. We were at a meeting together, and they asked me if I wanted to vote.
Resolution.
Maybe. So that talked from there. What it was, they just never used it. They wanted to give it back to the city where they got the grant. I guess they got the grant through the town. They scribbled it out.
Got room?
We'll figure out.
Got room for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Chief Tremaine or Dell, or? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept resolution number 4-2016.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Any other old business?
I don't know where it's old or new, but I got something I need to bring up. Had a call this weekend. Tenant at the Edinburgh. Had a talk with her today. I was gone last week when she tried to get a hold of me. I guess there's guidelines in how these people qualify to get in the building. I guess there's a $35,000 guideline. Lady is $798 over it. I don't know how long that we've owned this building, but I do know her. I know she's an ideal tenant. She keeps her apartment clean. She's never caused any problems. I know that right now the city of Lawrenceburg has got a very good group of people in that building that take really good care of it. If it's a guideline, and even if it isn't, how do we not give that guideline of $35,000 the same consideration on increase? We all know here it's not a whole lot of money. She's not worth a whole lot of money. She's got a job. She lives week to week like everybody else. And my question is shouldn't that $35,000 guideline somehow raise with the economic growth of the country or whatever it goes? Are we just going to make her leave, or what's going on there? Is there going to be any consideration for this lady? Because there's other people in that building that own homes that are worth more than she'll ever be worth.
Well, they could be in somebody else's name, though.
Do you know
that, but
Do you know that if ARA has raised this guideline since it's opened?
They haven't, and actually, Paul, I met with her last week, and I'm the one who went through, because what we did was, I just took, in reviewing all the documents from the legal standpoint, I just took all the guidelines that ARA had currently in place. So the $35,000 is the standard that they left us with. When her original lease ran out and it came up for renewal, we gave her the documentation that ARA has always used, where you show your proof of financial income and you verify that with your employee, verify that with your bank to kind of show your assets. And because she was over the limit, I interpreted the ARA rules to be what we would use. Of course, when we're in management and control of this facility, then that's something that we're now responsible for, but $35,000 was the limit, and that's the conversation that I had with her.
Now, my question is $35,000 is the limit, but there's a lot of variables. If a person gets sick and has hospital bills, that's all taken into consideration. It just seems to me like $798 and losing a potential person that's going to be there quite a few years. Usually those people won't leave, you know, very often, and you're not going to get a better tenant. I know there's rules and guidelines, but saying guideline is a whole lot different than saying, hey, you got 60 days to get out. And
she been told that?
And that's
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is she's a little uncomfortable now. She don't know whether she's going to be asked to be out in 60 days. So what I'm coming here to do is I'd like for some consideration, because that $35,000 guideline, I think, should possibly raise 2 or 3% every year. Those people shouldn't outgrow that building with their income.
Well,
I'm just here for discussion.
Yeah, let's research.
I'd just like to say this is a typical example why I said in the beginning we need a management company in there, and for us not to be doing this.
Well, obviously, Tony, though, that the management company that was in there had the same guy.
They dropped the ball, and if they're dropping the ball, we'll surely drop the ball because we're not landlords. But I would say at the next redevelopment, Paul, then they should make a motion to increase that. Because if it has been raised since day one, and how long has it been there?
I don't want everybody in the community thinking that we're raising it for one person.
Yeah, it'd be raised for all.
But the one thing I am curious about is it a guideline or is it a law? That's a big thing for me, because if it's a guideline, then we can work with these people a little bit. I mean, she don't own a home. Everything she's got is in this place. And Kelly, what you said, yeah, they put them in other people's names and do things to get in there, but hell, this lady, it's all she's got.
But this is strictly a guideline. From what I remember when it was first built, ARA came up with the guidelines. It's no government regulation or anything like that. It's a guideline that they came up with redevelopment back then. So we can change it.
And I think you're right, and I can tell you also that, to Tony's point, I've already, with the help of Judy McAdams, I've already redone 2 leases. I've met with 3 people total. We've got a very good system over there. It's definitely something that we can do and that we are doing. And I agree with you, Paul. I mean, we have an excellent group over there. I'm using the area guidelines that were in place. And now that we're taking over management again, we can modify those guidelines if you like, but I'm using what we already have.
Your Honor. I think that we ought to suggest to the redevelopment commission that the guidelines be adjusted by the cost of living increase every year, around 2 or 3% this year, something like that.
It's 2.3.
And I think that we ought to go back and maybe look at the,
Everything's kind of based off.
I'd like to,
Maybe
you know,
look
if
at
we've
the,
owned this building,
at the
Mario, how old is
adjustments
this building, Mario?
over the past years.
8, 9 years?
It's at least 9 years old.
I mean, you know, if we could also take that into consideration a little bit too, maybe go back that years
That's
from
just
that
what I said, yeah.
35,000.
That's just what I said, but because even people on Social Security get a cost of living adjustment.
That's reasonable.
All right, is that all right? All right, guys, thanks a lot.
And I'll look back too and see, has it always been 35,000 and how long the 35,000 has been in place, and that'll give you some context too.
Okay.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Okay. All right, any other old business, guys?
No.
All right, comments from the audience? All right, I'll accept the motion to accept the claims. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
Edinburgh. Okay. Edinburgh.
Yes, sir.
I probably can't answer. Aaron. Go ahead.
Took a house down there at Water Street.
Yes.
I mean, I'm Did he crack these foundation or cracks on them?
No, they're gonna be hauled off.
If Barry Sloan's got 1,000.
We're gonna clean it up completely. Stumps will be down there on the, very small.
I know what you mean. I mean,
They'll be gone.
it's a good point.
Yes.
Talk to you.
Yes.
I happened to walk around there with them parked over Mom's house. I walked around there. It's the same day that the person died over at Horseshoe Apartments, overdose.
Did you give this a no on this agreement? No. Okay. Yeah. I forgot to tell you, I gotta start, I'm supposed to do copies of contracts.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't realize that until recently, state one's on me, just in case that we get audited. No problem, I'll get it from you.
Not a problem, man.
Trying to get all my ducks in a row.
No, I didn't know what the thing was doing. I need to have people, I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
I wonder if 2 weeks will
thanks,
come in, or if
The only thing I can do is try to do it.
like what we had.
Hey, Tyler, do you have that resolution?
I'm all for it. I thought you guys were all, but no, I'm not.
I got this.
I definitely got wrong. Like,
I asked if you had a paycheck from me.